Home Slices. It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting, and I'm coming to you with my review for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 4, Episode 10. Y'all, I was thoroughly entertained by this episode, but I'm going to do a little something different with the video this time around. Since this particular episode was kind of jam-packed with a whole bunch of stuff, I have a feeling that it's going to go on a little longer than usual. So I figured that I might as well kind of try to do 2 videos in one. A few weeks ago, I straightened my hair using E-Tape products, and I'm going to put a link to that video up here, and you can click on that if you're interested. But it's been a long time, and as you can see, this little blowout or straightening session is way past due, and I need to refresh and wash and condition and pre-poo and yeah, just do my hair. So I'm gonna be doing 2 things at once today, and we're gonna see if my hair will revert after straightening it with the E-Tape products. So we'll see how that goes. But first, let's start off with Fizz, Moniece, AD, and Cam. So they're all doing miniature golf, and it's cute, you know. Moniece tells Fizz that Tierra wanted to apologize for kicking him out of her intervention, and Fizz not really tripping over it. But Moniece says, you know what, I got injured last night at that little fight that Masika had with Alexis, and y'all know what I'm talking about from the previous episode. And so later on they showed Moniece getting injured, so her legs is hurting, and Fizz said something profound. He said, if you show up with Tyson, you better be prepared to get in the ring. And I was like, you know what? That's a pretty good quote about, you know, watching the company that you keep. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm doing right now, I just put oil on my scalp. So I just kind of use this to lightly distribute it. I'm not scratching my scalp. I'm just kind of rubbing it so that the oil doesn't sit on one place in my scalp. But moving on, I was not a fan of Fizz saying that she needs to act like a 30-year-old mom. I don't know what that means. People need to stop trying to dictate the way that women are supposed to live their lives simply because they have children or whatever. Like, build a bridge and get on it. And while I don't think that she should be hanging around people that get her in those type of situations, that has nothing to do with her being a 30-year-old mom. So shut up, Fizz. Anyways, apparently AD is launching an apparel line, and she wants Tiffany and Moniece to make nice so they could be in the same room to do her little photo shoot. And I think Moniece is right about Tiffany being in love with AD, but you know, whatever. We're gonna move on to AD's photo shoot because I'm trying to keep the storyline straight. And so we see Moniece asked Tiffany to go to the side to talk. And so Moniece was real adult about it, and she apologized. And she was like, you know, for the sake of AD and for this, you know, being her shoot and us being here to support her, I apologize. And then Tiffany is like, nah, I'm not accepting it. So basically Tiffany is doing the same thing that Moniece did last time. And it's like, can both of y'all be the bigger person at the same time? Last time it seemed like Tiffany was more open, and then this time it was like Moniece was more open. It was real weird. Tiffany said she wasn't apologizing, and she started bringing up all the stuff that AD told her in confidence about AD wanting to leave Moniece. And then Moniece brought up that Tiffany, I can't remember what she called her, but that AD only kept Tiffany around if she needed some money or something. And AD actually agreed. She was like, yeah, I said that. And Tiffany did not like that. And Fizz and Nia thought it was pretty funny. So eventually Tiffany starts throwing things, and you know, they started exchanging insults or whatever, and Tiffany is like, you know, Moniece is acting real big and bad with all of these security around, which I think is true. But whatever. We're gonna talk about Moniece and AD one last time, thank goodness. But they're talking in their kitchen or whatever, and they're having issues. Their relationship is not all that it seems, apparently. They don't sleep together anymore. They're having issues. They started doing counseling before they were even together for a year. Moniece basically coerced AD into living with her before she was ready. And so basically Moniece said, you know, we can't be together if you don't move in with me. And either Moniece was looking for somebody to support her financially so that she could have a, you know, a nice home for her and her son, or she was really, you know, trying to manipulate AD into staying around longer. But anyways, AD seems to have some resentment over that and feels like they moved in too soon. And AD feels like Moniece isn't meeting her halfway, and there are days that she don't want to be there. So yeah, they're having problems. What to do? So, next we'll talk about Keisha Cole. Y'all, for Keisha Cole to have top billing, she has some of the more boring storylines. Like, she could at least be interesting, dang. But anyways, we see Keisha, Zell, and Quita, whatever her name is, Keisha's cousin. And Keisha brings up that Zell has been acting a fool in these streets. And Zell was like, you know, I just had to go after Mr. Ray like a tiger. But I was like, he didn't provoke you. Like, you attacked him unprovoked. So, and you know, Mr. Ray didn't even say nothing to Zell. Nothing. And Zell just went crazy. So it's very like a love-hate thing with Zell. At times he's very funny to me. But then at other times he just really... I really don't care for him because he darn near knocked Lyrica and Moniece over trying to get to Mr. Ray and was very unsuccessful. So, anyways, Zell and Quita decide to set up Keisha on a blind date, but only if Zell and Quita are in the building. That's the only way Keisha agrees, and they bring out a penis cake and she stabs the penis cake, whatever. So next we see Keisha and Boobie because Keisha is ready to go out on this blind date, right? And so she is going out on this date. So Boobie is coming over to watch the kid. And so apparently Keisha's face is tattooed on Boobie's hand. And she's like, you know, you should get that covered up. And he jokes about what he's going to get it covered up with. And so they go back and forth and it's very awkward. He's like asking if she's gonna, you know, put on some less revealing clothes, and it's real awkward, and they're taking little shots at each other, but it's all kind of like in good fun. So yeah, but that was weird. And so next we see Keisha and Jaquan. Is that his name? Yeah, I know who Jaquan is. He does, you know, some viral videos, and he does a pretty good impression of Ray J, I'll say. But when I saw that he was the person that she was going out with, I was like, why in the world would they set this man up with her? I mean, he's goofy. I wouldn't consider him necessarily funny. But I mean, this dude is not for Keisha Cole. Keisha Cole is a grown woman and she's looking for something serious. Like she said, she's not looking for a man. She's looking for love. So I knew right off the bat it wasn't going to work because all he does is joke. And that's all he did the whole time. So we're not going to spend too much time on him. Even with the roses, Keisha was not having it. And she left early. I feel like it may not have even been 15 minutes before she ended up leaving. So, I mean, Jaquan can say he went on a date with Keisha Cole, but not much else. He tried to ask for her number and she was like, nah. So yeah, that didn't go well at all. I guess next we'll talk about Hazel and Hazel's mama Angela and Rose Burgundy. Now something was wrong with Rose Burgundy. I don't think he was under the influence of something per se, but something was wrong with him, y'all, that particular night. I guess Hazel was ashamed of Rose's name because Rose is typically not a name, you know, for dudes. And so she was like, oh, we're going to call him Denzel, since I guess he's wearing that leather jacket like in Training Day or something. I don't know. Anyways, so, you know, Miss Angela asked him about himself, and you can tell she already don't like him. But, you know, his responses doesn't help at all. And so she's like, well, what do you do, you know, to afford my daughter? Basically, this is what she asked. And he was like, well, I just make sure everything with her is taken care of. I make sure, you know, she does this and that. And it was just like an unemployed dude legitimizing his unemployment with favors. that he does for his girl. I don't know. Anyways, her mama wasn't having it, and I wasn't either. He claims though that he wrote her music. Now that was something that I didn't know of, but how much you want to bet that that's mostly true? And so Angela, Hazel's mama, was like, well, don't act like you made her, because actually I made her. And he says, I made her first. And then Hazel was like, what? And he said, I made her first in this relationship. He covered that up real good. If that's, you know, not exactly what he meant the first time around or whatever. But he covered that up real good. And so, you know, Angela asked to be excused. And she is like, what you doing with this little dude over here? And Hazel was like, well, if I found a dude on my level, I would have to cater to his needs and rub his feet. And in this case, this dude is catering to my needs and rubbing my feet. So basically, she's just looking for a young dude that she can manipulate into doing whatever she wanted him to do, which is the same thing that I say for men who get with these little young girls who, you know, don't have anything going for themselves and thinks that they can mold and manipulate these young women into what they want them to be. So, you know, same thing goes for men and women. Don't think I'm trying to be sexist. When her mom asked her, what do you expect to get out of this relationship in 5 years? And she's like, I know I definitely would have a pretty baby with Denzel. And I'm like, how do you just give somebody a nickname on the spot? It's Rose, girl. Your boyfriend's name is Rose. Don't be ashamed in front of your mama, okay? But anyways, the mom brings up Booby. What about Booby? You was talking about Booby. What about him? What about him? What makes you think that that Booby is any better off than Roseberry? What makes you think? Anyways, but she definitely don't like Rose, so we know that for sure. Anyways, next we see Lyrica and Brooke Valentine. They're getting updated or whatever. And basically Lyrica tells Brooke about the fight that went down between Masika and Alexis and Zell and Mr. A and all that stuff. And Brooke's not even here for it, but she was like, you know, I'm not here for Hoozle. And I was trying to figure out what she was saying. But basically she's saying that Hazel is nobody. Like, Hoozle? So now that I get it, it's funny, but I was like, what is she talking about? But anyways, she doesn't like Hazel. She's only heard bad things, and she has a clutch full of receipts to prove that the bad things are true. Hopefully we'll get to see some of those receipts. Brooke says something real weird, and she says that Booby is my soulmate, but Marcus is my life partner. What? Isn't the point of having the soulmate so they can be your life partner? I don't understand the difference per se. If y'all understand the difference, y'all can put it down below in the comments. But I've never had a love triangle situation, and I get it. The girl is confused, and in her moment of vulnerability and in her moment of being angry with Marcus, you know, Booby is convenient for her to put her attention on and whatnot. And with Booby, you know, finally moving out of Keisha's house, you know, the timing and the stars are just all aligning. But the issue is that she really seems to and claims to still want to be with Marcus. So the girl's just confused. And I understand that, but she can't be dragging two people through her emotional turmoil. Okay? But anyways, let's move on and talk about one of the more entertaining parts of this episode. It was so funny to me. So we see Marcus, James, and A1 all meeting up. And James, if you remember, is Bridget's boyfriend. And so he said he was going to talk with some producers and see about getting her in the studio with somebody who won't, you know, have her singing any P-U-S-S-Y is good. Who won't have her singing any of those kind of songs, right? And so he meets up with Marcus, and Marcus is trying to hook up Bridget with A1. But remember, A1 can't work with no girls until his wife, her project gets off the ground. And so he says no, basically. And so Marcus is like, well, I'll do it. He volunteers. And so we see Hazel and Chanel at the same club. Not a coincidence, but Hazel is now trying to get with Booby. But it does not seem like Booby is, it doesn't seem like Rose Burgundy is necessarily out of the picture just yet. She invites Chanel to go to Booby's listening party, which is cool or whatever. And Chanel, for her, Chanel to be cool after what happened earlier in the season is cool. But they go over to A1 because Hazel says A1's music is popping right now. We should definitely try to make some connections with him so, you know, y'all can work together. Now, she goes over there and she starts trying to promote herself. This is the Aussie, what is this? Mega Moist Conditioner that I'm putting on my hair. Uh-oh, it's reverting, y'all. It's reverting. Thank you, Lord. We'll see. Hopefully it reverts all the way. I'll be mad if I gave myself heat damage. That's why I only go to professionals. Anyways, so Chanel is basically trying to sell herself on A1. And it's like, you know, I'm assigned to Young Money, and, you know, A1 was like, well, I thought you were a host. And she was like, well, that's basically my day job, but what I really want to do is music. And so A1 says, well, the music should be the one that's bringing in the money. And if that wasn't shady, I don't know what was. James and Marcus were really getting a kick out of it. And so A1 is basically claiming that there was a point where he wanted to work with Chanel, and because he was not as popular at the time, she didn't want to work with him. And so A1 was on his back then, they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me, right? And so Chanel just basically had egg on her face. So they had to change the topic because they were all laughing at Chanel's expense. Even Hazel. It was real bad. It was a real bad look for Chanel. They embarrassed her. And she was like, well, if you check my track record, you can see that I worked with Lil Wayne and Young Money and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, well, Charlamagne already talked about your track record. A1 was on like his messy queen stuff. He was getting a real bad. It was bad, y'all. And so she says, basically, if we're gonna go by the standards of Charlamagne dissing rappers, then I'm on the same caliber as Kanye and Drake. Basically, I understood what she was saying, but it came out wrong. The way she worded it came out wrong. She's saying that because Charlamagne dissed these other rappers, that she should be seen as on the same caliber with them, and it's not true. Not true at all. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna have to divide this up. But yeah, basically they and then she calls Marcus an a-hole. And she's like, the way you treated Jade and Brooke. And so she basically makes it personal. And so Marcus gained my respect for not allowing Hazel or Chanel to talk about Brooke. And he's like, you know, even though we aren't on the best of terms, that doesn't mean I'm going to allow them to disrespect, you know, the woman that I loved, you know, at one point or another. And then they get into this whole discussion about, you know, Hazel versus Brooke. And Marcus asks, Hazel, what have you been doing out in these streets? And she's like, well, I run LA. And he's like, well, there must be a bunch of LAs. Because they don't know what LA she's running. But anyways, Hazel says that she has a book that's sold out in stores. And Marcus is like, if it's only 4 books, yeah, it's going to sell out. And so Chanel and Hazel got up. And as they were walking away, Chanel said, you know, I'm not going to curb you next time. And A1 was like, I bet you won't. Chanel, it didn't look good. It was real bad. Alright, so next we see Bridget and Marcus. I didn't realize that they were such good friends. And immediately, I feel like their relationship is very similar to Brooke and Booby's, which makes both of them quite hypocritical. But you know, we don't know too much about their friendship right now, so we're not gonna be too critical. But from what I see that's gonna happen next time, their relationship is exactly like Booby's and Brooks. So yeah, they being hypocritical. Anyways, so Bridget doesn't want Marcus to tell Brooke about them working together. And Bridget is, oddly enough, proud of the PUSSY So Good song. And I don't think she should be, but whatever. She feels like she's, you know, stepping outside of the box. And that's cool, I guess. And I think they're both lame, so whatever. Hopefully they can both gain some success from doing this track together, because right now I really don't know in either of their music or their songs or anything at this point in time. So let's talk about Booby's party. This is gonna be our last topic. So at Booby's party, Bridget is lying to Brooke, saying she ain't seen Marcus, but she said she wanted to stay out of it. We'll see how much she stays out of it by the end of this review. But anyways, we see Hazel and Chanel come up, and they call themselves, or Hazel called them, the Blontourage. Really? Anyways, we see Safari, and I'm like, where is Safari been? For this dude to have top billing and for him to be in the opening credits. We've only seen him on like 3 out of the 10 episodes that, you know, we've seen this season. So what the heck? Anyways, Hazel said she about to show Brooke how she snags a baller. And I'm like, where? What baller? What baller you seeing here? He don't play for the NBA no more. He's trying to be a rapper now. It's not a baller anymore. But anyways, they showed him performing. He's doing that slow rapping. Very early 2000s Houston rapper, you know, real slow. A lot of dudes from Houston don't talk real fast. I'm from Houston, if y'all don't know. But the song was very Houston, you know. And he brought up a girl on stage and was dancing with her, and it was cute. I actually liked, I guess, the stage presence per se, but whatever. Now Bridget, after the after the performance was over, Hazel and Chanel go up to Booby, and Hazel start trying to lay her little charm on Booby, and Bridget say the girl is thirsty. Hazel was looking thirsty though, and so Brooke wasn't having it, so she come over there and she's like, oh hey Booby, how you doing, baby? And so Hazel says, oh, I didn't know you had so many fans. And so Chanel is chuckling or whatever. And Brooke said, oh, we was just giving you time to sign autographs, since Hazel thinks she's so famous. And that's when things get heated. And so Hazel was like, you act like you don't know me, but when he was over my house and you was FaceTiming or whatever. And Brooke is like, what are you talking about? That never happened. And so Booby is basically trying to minimize whatever he had with Hazel. And you know, any man with half a brain would do that, because Hazel is crazy and untalented and, you know, all that stuff. And so Bridget feels that Brooke is going a little too hard in the paint for Booby. Now here is where Bridget gets hypocritical for me. Okay, so if y'all remember from this episode, Bridget told Marcus that even though she and Brooke are friends, she's always going to ride for Marcus because she knew Marcus first and they were friends for a long time. Now, if Booby and Brooke are childhood friends the way that Brooke says they are, how is she not going hard for the dude that she's friends with? It's the same thing. What the heck? Hazel starts listing her accomplishments, like how she has a book all over the country, and how she just did a $1 million deal. Is that what she said, with Shoe Dazzle? And Bridget did not have to get involved, but she did. And she calls Hazel Wikipedia, and And she went hard on Hazel's square boob implants. And then Brooke jumps and the camera cuts out and I hear something and I think that Brooke hit Hazel. Not sure. She hit somebody. She hit something. But it might have been Hazel. And Brooke was like, that's how we do it where I'm from. And yeah, Hazel, that's what happened. Hazel told Brooke to go back to the country. And Brooke was like, aren't we supposed to be from the same place, Houston? Eventually, Hazel and Chanel walk away. And they exchange insults or whatever. And the only thing funny that Hazel said was that Brooke Valentine was Brooke Valentine. That was funny to me. But now Bridget, who came to Brooke's defense at first, is now talking about the girl. Basically, why are y'all fighting over a dude that neither one of y'all is sleeping with? Now, while that's definitely a good girlfriend question, Brooke told her, and I agree with Brooke, that, you know, we're friends and you have an obligation to tell me when I'm wrong, but now is not the time. It's not the right time to be telling me how you feel about my life decisions right here after it's happened and I'm already off this adrenaline of trying to beat up Hazel, okay? Do you want to fight? That's the way it was, okay? And so, basically, Booby took Brooke home. And Bridget was like, oh. But that's it, y'all. I was really entertained. Next time, we're gonna see Chanel and Solo Lucci go out on a date, and I couldn't care less about any storyline on this show. If anybody lets a dude that looks like Solo Lucci near they coochie, they you know, somebody you're not supposed to trust, okay? Now we see that AD is no longer on the faithful train, and she basically talks to Zale and Alexis about her relationship problems, knowing that Moniece don't like Alexis and is not really fooling with Zale at the moment because he knocked her over. But this is like another instance where I feel like Zale ain't nothing. He's basically said, you know, forget Moniece right now and let's just have fun. And next thing you know, AD is caught on tape grinding up on somebody else. And I think that somebody else was Alexis. And Moniece, you know, and AD have an issue about that, as they should. Next we see Brooke and Booby. Booby trying to take her on trips and whatnot. And Brooke is like, this thing between me and Hazel is getting out of hand. And Booby was like, I know you're gonna handle it. And okay, y'all, so if you come out with a song called Girl Fight, you have to know how to fight. And I'm under the impression that Brooke can. So her and Hazel are gonna meet up. And unfortunately, it looks like they're not gonna actually get the scrap for real. And so she says, Brooke says, where I'm from, we don't throw things, we throw hands. And you know, if security would let Brooke get her hands on Hazel, I think we would have a lot less problems out of Hazel. But whatever, they can't really fight all that security in a way. But next we see that Brooke is very confused, like I was saying earlier, and she sits down and talks with Marcus and they have a little heart-to-heart. But we also see Marcus sitting down telling Bridget that he's rocking with her, even though Bridget is complaining about her relationship with James because she feels like he's not trying in the relationship anymore. Don't wanna try, don't wanna try, don't wanna try no more. But it's like, if somebody cheated on me for 6 times, if somebody cheated on me 6 times, I don't know how willing I would be to try either. But whatever. And we see Masika, and she says that when it comes to Zale, Masika giveth and Masika taketh away. And apparently they have a fight and she brings Zale some Scooby snacks. But whatever. You know, they can't really fight because she's a girl and he's a dude. But we'll see how that unfolds next time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you excuse the fact that I was busy doing something else during this review. But it's okay. You know, y'all are becoming family now. Y'all are my subscribers. Thank you for all of you who have subscribed. My subscriber count has gone up quite a bit since the past, you know, few weeks. And I want to thank everybody for watching who did indeed watch. Thank you guys, and peace out, home slices.